Welcome to my first video blog. My name's Ian McDonald. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Cambridge Weight Plan, my journey through dieting, but first of all a little bit about me. I trained in science at Portsmouth University. I later then did a degree with the UK Open University, and I trained as a science teacher at London University. I had a big problem. The big problem was that back in 2010 I was Mayor of Kingston, that's London Borough in South West London, and during your mayoral year, as a London Mayor, you're doing a lot of charity work, and one of the things I was doing a lot of fundraising for was homelessness. And the problem is you have lots of charity dinners, you're being driven everywhere, and so the weight piles on. At the end of my mayoral year I thought, right, I must do something about this, and I tried exercise but I wasn't getting anywhere, and eventually what had happened was that I contracted type 2 diabetes. I'd gone to the doctor's surgery for a routine medical check, and the GP said, you have type 2 diabetes, there's nothing you can do about it. Too late. So challenge, I thought, well, actually, if you can go into type 2 diabetes, there must be a way of getting out of it. So I'm going to do some research on the internet. And I came across some very interesting work by Professor Roy Taylor at Newcastle University. And he discovered that if you go on a crash diet between 600 and 800 calories per day, you can reverse your type 2 diabetes. And he had proven this through clinical trials. Now, I'll explain a bit about the 600 and the 800 later. But what I then did was I got myself a Fitbit, tried to invent my own diet, and while I was losing some weight, I wasn't sustaining that weight loss. Further, I was still actually getting the diabetes symptoms, itchy skin, always having to go to the toilet, and again that was quite frustrating. So one Christmas I was sharing with a friend what I was doing and how I was trying to battle type 2 diabetes, and he said to me, Ian, you won't believe what I do. He says, I am a consultant with the Cambridge Weight Plan, and I help people with type 2 diabetes, and I know about the research of Professor Roy Taylor, and some of the people that you've been seeing on TV recently have been using the Cambridge Weight Plan products. And if you look at the research paper by the UK, Diabetes UK, you know, it acknowledges the fact that they were using the Cambridge Weight Plan products. So he helped me through that process, and for me suddenly the weight loss was very predictable, very linear, and I was being very successful. Now some people, because of their body types, have more problems, but for me I was quite lucky and it was going nice and smoothly. So I went from a 42-inch waist down to 36 inches in a very, very short space of time. And one of the biggest hidden costs that you've got to budget for if you're going on a Cambridge Weight Plan is actually new clothing. Because suddenly I was having to buy a new pair of trousers, and then a few weeks later buy a new pair of trousers again. And it's quite remarkable how you can actually lose weight so quickly. Now, not only that, I was getting fitter, because obviously if you're overweight, you've got fat around your heart as well as, you know, around your other organs. And so when I was exercising, I used to get out of breath. I don't get out of breath so much now. I mean, okay, I could be a lot fitter if I was in a marathon. Yes, I would be very out of breath, you know, after a few hundred metres. But that's just because I'm not fit. It's not because of the fat around my heart. Now, first thing to realise is that when we talk about 600 or 800 calories, a lot of this depends on your body type. Unfortunately, men, we're not very efficient with our energy, and so we need about 800 calories per day. Women, on the other hand, are much more efficient, and if you're a woman under 5'8", then you need 600 calories per day, and if you're over 5'8", you then need 800 calories per day. And that basically means that if we put you on one of our normal full diets, you're going to be needing between 3 and 4 products from us per day. And each of those costs around about £2 to £3. That's per packet. and you'll need either 3 or 4 of those, and that's prices in autumn 2019. So obviously, as years go by, prices will increase. So that actually helps. Those packets contain all the nutrients you need and the carbohydrates you need in order to survive, but trick your body into believing that there's a famine. And so what happens is you go into a process called ketosis, and your body says, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start burning fat. Now, the problem is that you need to get over into ketosis, and there are certain things that will make it harder for you. For example, drinking caffeine. Some of the chemicals in fizzy drinks will make it more difficult for you, so it's better to drink just water. Now, of course, if you're giving up tea and coffee, that means you start getting headaches, so you'll need about 3 or 4 days to get through that. And once you're there, you'll find that your body suddenly says, okay, I give up, I'm not craving food anymore, I understand we're in famine, and I'm going to behave myself and we'll just burn fat. And life becomes a little bit more manageable. The other key thing that's probably useful that I picked up is that rather than try and eat all your meals in one go, or spread them out in the first part of the day, it means then at the evening you can get very hungry. So I reckoned because of when I got up and when I went to bed, I needed about 1 meal every 4-hour gap in between. And that really meant that I could go 3 hours, I wasn't feeling hungry, and in the 4th hour, yeah, I was feeling hungry, but I could manage to get through the line until my next meal an hour later. And so I kind of went through the day like that, and it became a lot more easy and manageable. Obviously, if you're on 600 calories a day, then you've got to sort of spread that out a little bit more, and you'll have more time in the middle. But it's better to make the time manageable in equal chunks rather than try and actually borrow to pay back and get the payback later of having longer hunger pains. So the other key thing obviously is when you're going on a diet, you're burning a lot of fat, and the fat just doesn't evaporate from your body. It's actually got to be excreted into the loo, to put it bluntly, into the toilet. And this can make life just a little bit more difficult, and constipation can be a common problem. So you actually need to have a good intake of water each day, and this is about 4 pints a day, or 2.5 litres, and you need that as minimum. If you have less than that, you're going to have real problems. You also obviously need to, it helps your kidneys and other bodily functions, so you do need that water input each day. So it's a minimum 4 pints or 2.5 litres per day, and that's water in addition to any water that you use for making up the milkshakes or other type of products. I say milkshakes, we also have products that are lactose free, so if you're lactose intolerant, then we can cater for that. We can also cater for vegetarians, but at the moment we can't cater for vegans. Now, having actually got your diet organised, and the key thing to realise is that when you visit a Cambridge consultant, they'll look at your medical history, they'll consult with their doctors in the back room, my doctors in the back room, and between us and them, they will come back to us and they'll recommend a particular diet path, and we will coach you through that recommended path. Now, we also obviously will give you advice on constipation. One of the key things that you may find you need is fibre. You might want to go to a health food shop, you buy phylum pellets. Usually go to a health food store, typically would cost you around about £15 for about a month's supply. That can actually help prevent you from having constipation too difficultly. Obviously you might get some. Constipation, when you're burning off fat, it's like trying to excrete a tub of margarine, so you really don't want to be there if you can help it. If you make that life a lot easier by drinking plenty of fluids and having fibre in your diet, that's really good. If it gets too difficult, then one of the things we've got is Cambridge Fibre. This costs around £7, and you take 2 teaspoons a day, but you have 1 teaspoon at one part of the day and the second teaspoon the other part of the day, and that will actually just sort of help with going to the toilet basically. The other thing is that obviously if you're drinking and you're drinking water all the time, some people just really need some flavour. So one of the other things we've got various powders that you can add to your drinking water. This one's lemon and lime. We have watermelon and raspberry and elderflower. There's various flavours that we have, and those obviously cost around about £5 a tub. You just need half a teaspoon in a litre of water thereabouts, and that can actually give the water a little bit more flavour and can help you get through that. You can still drink fruit teas, but obviously stay away from any teas or coffees that have caffeine in. So I've spoken about obviously losing weight, you having to change your clothing, and I went from 42 inches down to 36 inches very quickly, so you need to budget for that. I've talked about the cost of meals, so it's about £2 to £3 per packet, and you'll need either 3 of those or 4 of those per day. And you know, a diet's probably going to last you, well, people I see around about sort of 6 to 8 weeks, and then we start weaning you off onto normal food. Other people it can be a lot longer. And one of the key things, if that is going on long, what you might do is take you off the diet for a while, put in some salads and various other things, and then actually put you back onto the diet again, because what we want to do is make sure we keep you healthy. If you've got an extremely high BMI, one of the things obviously we would do is not push you straight into 600 or 800 calories a day. What we would want to do is to gradually wean you onto that. So we would probably use milk to help move you into that period. One of the other key things to realise is that you can't buy the food products on the internet. One of the things obviously is because you need to have a consultant looking after your well-being. We need to make sure that you're on the right diet correctly, and we need to maintain that contact with you. You need to only get that through a consultant. And typically when you come to see us, the first time we'll see you, we'll sit down, usually takes about an hour for the meeting, we'll go through your medical history, we'll send that off to our backroom GPs. We're registered with the Information Commissioner's Office, so we do care about your confidentiality of information, and we keep that on an online system whereby once you cease being a client of ours, that's then deleted, so we've got full control over that. Now, the other key thing obviously is that in looking after that diet, we will want to make sure that we're maintaining contact with you, making sure that you've got other problems, no other problems, and if you have, then we can help you through that. So obviously we will use the internet, messaging, text, to see how you're doing through the first few days. We'll probably want to see you the following week for maybe half an hour to talk through how that's going, and then thereafter we'll meet you about every 3 weeks or so, and so that will be your time to buy new products when we've worked out what you're going to do next, and also we'll take your weight measurement and your waist measurement. So the key thing, obviously, if you're diabetic, you really ideally want to get your waist down to at least only half your height, if not better. That obviously you've got to take into account your muscular, how muscular you are in stomach. So I know I now do a lot of martial arts, so one of the things is it actually builds muscles in your stomach. So you kind of got to take that into account when you look at the waist measurement as well. And obviously we'll try to help you down to a healthy BMI. Now, one of the key things we'll also be looking at is making sure that diet is sustainable for you. Once you've lost the weight, we'll want to talk you through getting back onto a healthy diet. If you need help with that, if you've never cooked before or something like that, then we can talk you through that and give advice. If once you're back on normal food, we'll want to keep in contact for a while to make sure that you're sustaining that weight loss and it's not just all going back on again. So do look me up on Facebook, Ian McDonald. You'll find my contact details there. You can find my contact details on this channel, and if I can help you, I operate around the London, Surrey and Hampshire area. I will sort of cross the borders into Sussex, but it's mainly a core area, and if I can help, please get in contact. Thank you for watching.